Good morning. On Easter Day, the readings are Matthew 28, 1-10 and Acts 10, 34-43. Alleluia! Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Alleluia! I can still picture moments of great significance in my life, like a new job, when my life took on a new outlook. I remember where I was, what was said, and how I felt. It was also a bit scary, taking a step in a new direction, full of anticipation, but not always quite sure how it would pan out. That may be the case for all of us, each in our own little world. How much more, though, did it change things for the women who went to the tomb that first Easter morning and found how dramatic a change had happened there. And not just for them or the disciples, but for the whole world. The appearance of the angel, which was like bright lightning, with clothes as white as snow, added to the shaking of the earth itself, would have been enough to make anybody run with fear. But to the women the angel spoke gently and assuringly. "Do not be afraid. I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised as he said. Come, see the place where he lay." What they saw was nothing. The tomb was empty. Most of the time, the word empty has a negative meaning. An empty packet of sweets. They're all gone. Empty words. No real substance to them. A feeling of emptiness, akin to loneliness, and so on. The empty tomb, however, is quite different. That was a notion of the deepest wonder and joy. Where once his body lay, there is now only a discarded burial cloth. Jesus is risen. Here is a space that is empty because death could not hold him. His body is not just missing, it has come back to life, and that is the best news of all time. When we were little, my sister and I would sometimes play a trick on our dad with his boiled egg at breakfast. We would quickly eat our own egg, and when Dad wasn't looking, we'd substitute our empty eggshell for his egg under his egg cozy. I know, it's sad, isn't it? Of course, Dad would always know somehow and play the game. Easter eggs, not the small ones with a filling but the big ones, are hollow. They are empty inside, just like a shell. The reason may be because a big Easter egg would be impossible to eat if it was solid. But if you think about it, it is also a good reminder and a metaphor of the empty tomb. Nothing inside worth looking at, nothing to see, hear, or taste. And particularly at Easter, that is good. At the empty tomb, the women were also told to go and tell the disciples that Jesus had risen from the dead, and that he would go ahead of them to Galilee, where he would meet them. That was the real substance of the empty tomb, that Jesus could be seen to be alive, and that witnesses were to proclaim the resurrection as the reason for our hope. As they went to do as the angel had said, suddenly Jesus himself appeared to them, saying, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me." It was a moment of great significance for the women, the disciples, for all of us. Everything changed in the moment of the resurrection. It was when death was shown up as being empty, of no substance, of no power at all. Nothing would be the same ever since. The empty tomb is saying just that, as we proclaim the risen Lord. Alleluia! Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Alleluia! Happy Easter!